Hey everyone, it's Foxy Frog, aka Lara. We're here today trying out a new game that is a completely different style of game than I've ever played before, and so I'm really looking forward to it. This game is called Our Life, Beginnings and Always, and it is a dating sim visual novel style game. I took the time to read through the intro, like the rules and the guidelines before starting the video, so you guys don't have to look through that with me. And so we're here, but aside from that, I don't actually know anything about this game. So we're here in the customization window that happens directly after reading through the tutorial. So we are going to design our character. I'm super excited. There are a couple of things I'm really looking forward to with this game after reading through the tutorial. First of all, they let you kind of choose whatever you want, and aside from like basic physical features that like eye color and skin color, you can change your character however you want throughout the game. So I think that that's really cool. As well, it gives you different options for how to react to certain encounters, but it will kind of funnel your decisions to kind of make it more like how people would respond in true to life situations, which I think is really cool. So I'm excited to see how that plays out in this game. And with that, I'm gonna get to customizing our character. So I'm gonna leave name for last because that's always hard for me to decide. So I also really like that they have different pronoun options too. I'm gonna, just because I'm kind of gonna try to make this character feel more like myself, probably, I'm gonna go with my personal pronoun. All right, and aside from that, let's see the different options here. Okay, so we can change. I like the oval face, that's really cute. Let's see if there's, I think oval face is my favorite, so I'm gonna go with that one. That's really cute. Skin tone, let's see. I honestly kind of like this one. Kind of a good summary color. Okay, let's see. Eye shape. Cool. Okay, so we have the options with eyelashes and without. That's really cool. So let's see. Oh, that's cute. I kind of just like the first one. This isn't being terribly different here, but let's see. Okay, eye color. My eyes are blue, so I want to do blue eyes. But there's also purple. That's really cool. I don't know, I might leave it on purple for a minute, and then let's see what the hair... I'm gonna do hair colors first. And see if the hair color I like matches well with that. So... we could even do purple hair. Oh, this is cool. Ooh, blue hair. Guys, I'm kind of liking this a lot. What are these? Back color? Can we like rotate? I don't even know what the back color of our hair is going to be, so I might just... oh, hair back. Oh, that's what that is. That's if we want longer hair. Oh, that looks really cool. Look at that. Okay, guys, I love that. Let's see what the different front hairstyle... that's really cute, too. Also that. Goodness, there are so many cute choices. Okay, hold on a minute. Might need not hair back yet. Okay, let's look through these first. That's really cute too. Ooh, I love this already. I love when a game has a story, but you can still customize stuff a lot. So let's just, oh, that's really cute too. Oh my goodness, there are so many. Oh my gosh, look how cute that is. Is there a good back hair to match with that, I wonder? That would be pretty cute. Let's see. Oh, that's cute too. Oh my goodness! So, oh, with the pigtails. I love that. Oh, and a longer braid. I love that so much too. I do really like long hairstyles. Maybe we'll do something like this. Okay, cool. In which case, we have to choose a name now. Yeah, I like it with the purple hair in the back and the blue hair in the front. Okay, cool. Let's do this. What will our name be? Oh, this is so hard for me. Let's see. Let's see. I don't want to do just the regular name. Let's do... Do Layla. That's kind of a cool name. And for the last name, oh goodness. Actually, I'm changing my first name because I just remembered I really like this name. Let's do that. That's a little bit more non-traditional. I like it. Oh, last name, last name, last name. Let's see. Oh, I hate this. Let's see. Last name, let's just do something simple. There we go. Okay. Let's go to the next page. I don't like that last name, but I don't want to spend a lot of time choosing one. Let's see. Willow. Let's see. I'll do that. Okay. Birthmarks. Oh, let's see. Oh, that's cute. That's cool. There's so many different ones. We'll do that one. What scars can we have? That. Probably gonna not do a scar. The rosy cheeks are cute. Ooh, I like freckles. Let's see. Let's do all the freckles. I like that. Hand size. Medium, chubby, slender. Let's do medium. Glasses. I think I'll probably do... Probably no glasses. Okay. She's looking super cute. Okay. I like skirts. Let's do skirts. An accessory. Hats? Love hats. Okay. And a birthmark. Let's put one on her arm. And a scar on her leg. And then freckles on her arm too. I wish I could see what this is gonna look like, but that's okay. We'll figure that out. Okay. And then that's it. All right. We are customized. Here we go. Summer in Sunset Bird was a special time of year. Your usually sleepy town began to bustle. It was a popular tourist destination with people coming from all over to enjoy the beach, the weather, and the relaxation that came with both. The smell of the ocean, crisp and salty, hung in the air, bringing 3 whole months of schoolless vacation with it. Sounds wonderful. During the summer, your moms didn't like you to wander too far outside of your neighborhood, so you knew the area pretty well. That included the people. Families came and went from Sunset Bird, but they mostly stayed and did what your mom called putting down roots. They built businesses, they got to know each other, and they definitely said hello to the nice young kids who waved when passing their stores. Going for a walk around town mostly meant that the familiar, friendly residents waved or asked how your family was, or most often just said hello. All right, let's see what our options are. This is our first choice we get to make, and they are color-coded, which is, I remember that. So let's see. You didn't really get why they always had to say hi. They saw you every day, but you nodded back at them anyway. You ended up saying hi to a lot of different people, since most of the tourists that came and went every summer were the same ones. You were too anxious to say hi back to most of the other residents that greeted you, but they all knew you well enough to expect that. I kind of like this middle option. Let's do that. You enjoyed learning all about where they were visiting from and hoped to visit those places one day too. But today there was a man sitting on the curb outside your house. He was sitting with his head in his hands, his whole body slumped over, and you wondered if he was even a real person or a statue that had magically sprung up from the ground overnight. Whoever or whatever he was, you had never seen him before. One thing about knowing everyone in Sunset Bird was that people who you didn't recognize really stood out. It was rare for tourists to venture into the residential district, as your moms called it. So for you, not knowing who a total stranger was set off a lot of red flags. Your moms had to talk with you and your big sister Lizzie about this kind of situation before, or had a talk with you. Okay. You hadn't exactly been listening at the time. You think it could be okay to talk to new people. They mentioned that some people aren't good to talk to, but other types of people can help you even if you don't know them. You remember that it's okay to run away if you feel uncomfortable. You don't have to worry about being polite to them. I wonder which one we will do here. I think I'll stick with... I'm tempted to do this first one. I feel like maybe we wouldn't have been listening and you think it could be okay. But you weren't sure about this man yet. Still, you felt a bit scared knowing that he was blocking the way to your front door, but you were pretty interested. You wanted to know more about what was going on. Whether he was nice or not, you didn't want to be bothered. I think I would go with this one. Not knowing why he's blocking the front door. You slowed down, your mind racing for ideas on how to get past him unseen, but it was too late to escape. There was a split second where your eyes met, and you took in a shaky breath, your eyes darting to the sky, pretending to stare at a bird who was hovering nearby. "Hey," says the mystery person. His voice startled you and made you jump, but you still didn't look at him. The bird landed on top of a nearby gatepost, and its black feathers ruffled against the gentle breeze. Trying to keep your eyes on it was tough, especially when the man stood up and started to make his way toward you. Ooh, this is getting a little bit suspicious. Not wanting to seem too approachable, you folded your arms and stared. Still unsure about him, but willing to be friendly, you offered the stranger a smile. Your whole body was frozen in place as he approached. So, we're feeling a little bit nervous, but we're thinking it could be okay to talk to new people, so I'm gonna go with this middle one here. Still unsure, but we smile. The man gives a grin of his own back. "Do you live around here? What's your name?" Kind of cute. Look at his cool tattoo on his arm. You looked the man up and down, taking in his tanned skin and relaxed appearance. At least his clothes were relaxed. The way he was acting wasn't. He had sharks on his shorts and a stingray tattoo, and you wondered if he was obsessed with the ocean or something. While you made your assessment, he looked at you expectantly, waiting for an answer to his question. So we can say, "Yeah, I live here. I live right there, and my name is Willow," or we say nothing. Let's just say we live here. That's great. He looked happy to hear it, giving you a broad smile. Interesting. He reached into his pocket and pulled out a clean $20 bill. It crinkled in his hand as he held it up to you. Even more confused than before, you looked back at him. Well, could you do me a favor? Nothing bad. Sorry, I should have... Let me start over. He cleared his throat and stood up straighter. From where you were standing, it just made him look creepier. I have a son. His name is Cove, who's about your age. Cove. That seemed like a strange name for an actual living person. Or an actual living person to you. You chewed on the inside of your cheek. This guy was definitely obsessed with water. You thought that was pretty cool. Honestly, I think it's a pretty cool name. Let's do this one. You've never met anyone with that name. Cove's dad. Okay, so now we have a name for this character. We moved in across the street, see? He gestured toward the house that had been empty for a year, his watch catching the late afternoon sunlight and reflecting off the walls. The gigantic for sale sign was finally gone. You must be Willow Lane, right? I met your mom earlier and they told me you were 8, just like him, so... He shook the $20 bill to bring it back to your attention, a hopeful smile tilting his lips at the corners. Can you try to be friends with the boy? Just give it a chance and you can keep this. He's a good kid, you'll like him. Oh, that's kind of cute that he's looking out for his son and wanting to get a friend for him. I kind of feel like it's strange to offer money for that, but but still, we'll see where this goes.
Do you mind?
But you've got to keep it a secret too, okay? It wouldn't be friendly to say his dad sent you. I see. You eyed the man. You kind of felt sorry for Cove. Did the other kids really get their parents to pay for friendships? Let's see. I'll just say that we kind of feel sorry for Cove. This definitely wasn't the normal way kids made friends. You knew that. What do you say? Want to make a deal? Oh, this is interesting. We're not going to run away, but do we take the money? Let's see. I wonder if we can say we don't want the money, but we'll be friends with him anyway. Oh no, I said no thank you, sorry. Let's see. He deflated enough to notice, but not completely. Are you sure? It won't be so bad, even if it's just for the summer, that'd be enough. That only made this sound more strange to you. Why does it lasting for the summer matter? When it was clear his initial strategy wasn't going to fly, he tucked the bill back into a back pocket and changed the request. I get it, you don't have to. Would you be comfortable with he and I coming by for a normal visit? No money involved. Oh, that sounds much better. Yes. Because I want to meet him. I just don't want to be paid to do it. Yes, I want to meet him. His smile got bigger again, his eyes crinkled at the sides. I'll bring him by tomorrow. I wanted him to meet and greet with the neighbors today, but, well, I don't know where he's gotten off to. Though he's an adventurous type. He laughed when he said that, but with the way his face looked, you thought he actually wanted to cry. I wonder if we'll get more backstory about their family and why they just moved here and what happened before. If you see him, can you tell him to come on home? He's got a pink cast and glasses. You can't miss it. I think we'll say I can try. You nodded, not totally certain that you'd find Cove, but willing to look. The man smiled and reached out to pat you on the head, paused before doing so, then pulled his hand away instead. Your moms are already checking around for me. Such a thoughtful group you are. Now I better go look too. Can't put everyone else to work while I keep sitting here. I thought he might come back, and that's not what's important. I have to go. Thanks again, Willow, so much. You jogged off down the street without another word. You decide to check the hills behind your house. Cool. All right, so we've met our first character. That's exciting. So it's Cove's dad. Step 1, first sight. The chirping of crickets in the tall grass greeted you, quiet and familiar. I have to say, I love how descriptive this game is. I am imagining that this is typical for this style of game, but I don't know personally because I haven't played any other games like this before, but I am loving the descriptions in the comments and in the scenery descriptions, that kind of thing. This is super cool. From the top of the hill, you could see the ocean. As you walked, you listened to the crash of the waves on the shore and the seagulls squawking as they settled down for the night. You've always loved the ocean. It was so much fun. You loved to hear stories about the sea, about the merfolk and the sea serpents you imagined living far beneath the waves. You didn't enjoy the beach all that much, especially the sand, which got absolutely everywhere. Okay, well, we're picking one of the first two. Oh, and I love both of those, but I think I'm gonna say the one about the stories. We love the story. Sometimes you could almost convince yourself you had seen the flash of a shiny mermaid's tail in the distance. You took in a deep breath. You wanted to try to relax, and couldn't. You weren't sure what, but something told you that you weren't alone, so you glanced around. There was a boy sitting at the top of one hill, almost completely hidden within the long grass and white flowers surrounding him. So there's Cove, the first time we see him. His head was buried in his knees, staring ahead by himself. For whatever reason, probably just that he wasn't paying attention, he hadn't noticed you yet. You watched him a minute longer, feeling a little bit like you'd found a deer in the wild. Though deer didn't have any of these, actually. Let's see what we want to notice about him. We notice his hair, his eyebrows, his glasses, past, or his sad frown. Let's say sad frowns. But this new boy did. You wondered what could have upset him. After a few more seconds, you took a step forward, then another. And then he glanced your way. His aquamarine eyes reflected the light of the moon. You stopped, raising a hand to acknowledge him and show you weren't scary. Hi. With a start, he jumped to his feet, his hands balling into fists at his sides. He didn't say anything, just stared at you in a strange way. Oh, he looked so sad. He'd been crying. There were traces of tears on his cheeks and his knees, soaking the hem of his shorts, and his eyes were still shining with a few more. You'd obviously caught him off guard. His pink cast seemed to glow in the twilight, but when he caught you staring at it, he hid his arm behind his back. Something the man earlier had said stuck out to you. Cove? Eyes wide, he studied you. How did you know that? I met your dad. I'm all-knowing, or lucky guess. Let's see. Probably I would say I met your dad. But I don't know, maybe we want to be a little bit more sassy. That's a lie, tell the truth. Okay, your dad told me who you were. Oh. So, is this your hill? He gestured with his uninjured arm to the patch of grass surrounding you, his face falling at the prospect. I can leave if it is. You shook your head. You can't own a hill. Yep. Let's see. Say you can't own a hill. Why not? How could you? You just do. I had a hill back home. Well, this still isn't mine. Oh. He sat back down with a thump, resting his chin on his knees again. Curious about the strange new boy with the odd dad, you sat on the patch of grass next to him. The pure white flowers that covered the hill rocked back and forth gently as the stars twinkled above. The way they dotted the sky made them seem like flowers too. The night wind was cool as it traveled over the ocean and up the hill, chasing away the heat from the afternoon sun. Let's see, do we want to say, why are you here, or why'd your family move? Let's say, why are you here? A quiet hiccup escaped Cove as soon as you asked the question. Almost like they'd never stopped, his tears started again, with a vengeance. My parents, they don't want to live together with me anymore. The tears fell fast and heavy over his flushed cheeks, sticking in his dark lashes. My mom made my dad leave and he took me with him, and now we have a house here and I want to go home. The outburst took you off guard. By the time he was done wailing, Cove's chest was heaving with exhaustion. He sniffed and removed his glasses, wiping at his eyes with the back of his hand before he put them back on again. I hate this place. I want my real life back. I want my mom. Let's see. We're gonna be empathetic. Because I'm super into this, like, how to emotion coach kids. We're gonna do our best just to choose those options, because that's what I would choose anyway. Let's say I'm sorry. He slipped his hands under his glasses and pressed his fingers against his eyelids. Cove wound himself up again for another long crying fit. You felt bad for him being forced to come here with no choice. You couldn't imagine what it would feel like to live with only one of your moms, but it must be pretty hard. But from way off in the distance, you heard your parents. Willow! Cove! Kids, where did you go? Cove looked at you, tears still clinging to his cheeks. Don't tell them we're here.
I want to go home.
Don't want to go back to that house. I want to go home. Let's see. Let's say... You can handle it. You have to go. Don't worry so much. Sorry, I have to. It will be okay. I think I'll say it will be okay. You were struck by a sudden need to reassure Cove. It's not gonna be all fun. But isn't he your family too? Yeah, I guess. Then you can count on him when you really, really need him. Oh, goodness. Why did I do that? Go away. You shot him a grin and pushed yourself to your feet. Slowly, Cove stood up with you, still looking a little reluctant. His dad's voice rang out again. Cove, can you hear me? He looked toward the sound of his dad's voice, silent, then turned away while rubbing his not bandaged arm. Sorry, I still don't want to go. Let's see. You called out yourself. You waited silently with him. You tried to convince him. I'm gonna wait silently with him. Yeah, I get it. You do? Before you could answer, you heard Cove's dad, even closer than before. There you are, bud. The trio of parents appeared over the curve of the hill. Instantly, all their eyes landed on you, and they rushed over. Okay, there are our moms. Both of your moms were at your side in a split second, faces filled with worry. Willow, you're here after all. We had been at the park to check for Cove and then heard what happened earlier when you met the new neighbor. I thought you might have gone off further away. No, we were just sitting in the grass. Why is everybody acting like this is such a big thing? We're okay, don't worry. Cove didn't want to go home yet. I think I'm gonna say we're okay, don't worry. Thank God you're both fine. Were you two having fun out here? You look over at Cove, who was wiggling against his dad's tight hug and pushing at his arms. You shrugged. Yes, I like him. He's good. I think I'm gonna marry him. I think I'll say yes, I like him. You nodded, smiling slightly. Finally letting go of his squirming, scowling son, Cove's dad turned to the three of you.
That's a relief.
Thanks very much for finding him. I really don't know this neighborhood. Good thing Willow knows this whole area so well. Absolutely. We should be getting home now. It's been a long day for us all. Say goodbye, Cove. The two of them walked off into the darkness, heading toward the neighborhood. You watched Cove's bright pink cast until it disappeared. Tell you what. We'll have a proper playdate tomorrow, okay? Your new friend's dad wanted to bring him by to see you and Lizzie. How does that sound? Let's see. It sounds like words. You nodded, ducking your head down. Sure, can I show him my stuff? Let's see. Let's do this one. Both of your moms laughed, the sounds overlapping into a warm, familiar chorus. Mommy put her arm around your shoulder and led you towards the path. Satisfied and more than a little ready to go to bed after your long, exciting day, you followed them home. Choose your feelings for Cove. Okay, this is how you feel towards Cove for this step. It can change in later steps. Interesting. I think we want to do, let's see, relaxed. What does relaxed and fond look like? I don't think I want to go straight to crush because we're younger right now. I think we want to be direct or relaxed. Not nervous. Let's be direct or relaxed. Definitely we're going to be fond. What does indifferent look like, I wonder? Okay, let's do this. And then... Let's be relaxed. I think that sounds good. Let's do it. You won't be able to change... Let's see, you won't be able to change it again until step 2. Yes, I think that's a good start. Okay. At the breakfast table the next morning, you finished your food faster than usual. I love this style of game. This is super intriguing. I've never played anything like it. I super love it. Your sister Lizzie had run out earlier to go play, but you'd stayed put. Today, just like your moms had promised, Cove was coming over to hang out. Excited to see your new friend again, Willow? Yeah, I am. How sweet. I'm so happy he moved in.
Okay.
With that said, are you done with your breakfast? Your bowl was entirely empty, so you nodded. Let's just say yes. With all the exasperation an 8-year-old can muster, you looked at your empty cereal bowl, then at Mom.
Okay.
Okay, attitude kid, we see. Good job, he should be here soon. Cleanup began, and then on cue there was a knock. It was hesitant, like the person wasn't sure they were in the right place. Still loud, though. We need to get a more obvious doorbell. I know. Willow, could you get it? Wiggling out of your chair, without really pushing it back, you made your way to the door. Hey, Lane family, thanks for having us. Mr. Holden, as your moms have called him, and his son were here. Cove looked different in the bright lighting of your living room, and when he wasn't crying. With his dad standing in front of him and Mom and Mommy behind you, you and Cove looked at each other. Pleased to see your new friend again, you smiled at Cove. He smiled back with some hesitation. Let's go play in my room. Okay.
Take care.
Let us know if you need anything, you two. This is super cute. Have fun, kids.
See you.
See you later, son. Play nice. All right. You led him to your room, puffing out your chest a little bit at the sight of your treasures. There were lots of stuffed animals, a cool bed, a window to look out. It's a cute room, isn't it? It was a great room. You hadn't had anyone to show it to in a while, but you were really proud of it. He leaned in a little closer to one of your drawings on the wall. I like this. Let's say thank you. You're welcome. You smiled at him. You were proud of that particular piece of art, and you were glad he noticed it. He turned to look around the room a little more, studying the books on your desk and the pictures on the walls. Let's see. We can say you started to feel a bit nervous. You felt the atmosphere was kind of awkward. You were glad for the company and you hoped he liked your room. Let's see. Probably, I would say, I hoped he liked our room. You had put a lot of effort into making your room as nice as it was. You hoped he didn't say anything bad about it. Then his eyes landed on the tiny box of beach things you'd collected, tucked away by your door. He took a step towards it before hesitating and pointing at it instead. What's that? A hoard of stuff I found on the beach.
Oh.
Do you have any driftwood in there? Dragging the box into the middle of the room, you and Cove flopped down next to it. I think so. Yeah, see? You gestured to a piece at the bottom, still covered with specks of sand.
Neat.
Neat. This is a good collection. You got the sense from the tone of his voice that he wasn't just saying it to be nice, or to be like Shiloh. He actually meant it. Oh, right. I almost forgot. Shiloh is going to be here today. Shiloh? Lizzie's friend, or like, her #1 fan, I guess? Do I have to see him? It should be okay. I mean, he's Lizzie's friend, not mine, but you know. Come on, let's check out my shells some more. I found this one under a big piece of seaweed that had washed ashore, and you pulled out a seashell after seashell, explaining where you'd gotten each one and holding them up against the light. There were big ones, small ones, pink, purple, and orange. Most of them you washed off in the bathroom sink when you brought them home, cleaning off the sand. Over the past few years, you'd even learned some of their scientific names. The collection was so huge and varied that you had lots of funny stories to tell for all of them. Your voice faltered a bit, but you kept going as best as you could. Let's say that we have funny stories. Apparently fascinated either by the stories or by the shells themselves, Cove listened with what looked like the full force of his attention. Like when you almost got pinched by a hermit crab while searching for shells, and after watching him scuttle back into the ocean, you found another empty shell that was almost a twin to his home. It was a new experience to be the center of such dedicated focus, but Cove hadn't been mean to you, so you didn't mind. You smiled at him every now and then while showing him your collection. Kids, come down to the living room. You could tell the idea was making him unhappy, but Mommy wasn't giving you much of a chance to hang around. Cove hadn't been like this meeting you. You guessed it was because he thinks you found each other by accident, not that a parent made it happen. Mr. Holden must have been right that telling Cove his dad was part of that would be a bad idea. Before you knew it, you'd both been escorted downstairs and deposited in the living room, ready for Shiloh's visit. The two of you sat side by side on the floor of your home's entryway. I brought the box of shells. I want to keep looking at them. We'll say great. I think that's fine. Or maybe we say okay, but be careful. I will. You weren't sure if you could trust someone else with your treasures yet, so you stayed next to him while he opened the lid and peered inside. Cove reached in and pulled out a big orange shell. Oh. Like he hadn't spoken aloud yet. He turned to you and held it up, his eyes shining. I think this one is the best of them. Ooh, let's say that's our favorite too. Cove smiled at you and you both admired the shell together. It was a giant conch with shades of dark and light orange. If you held it to your ear, you could practically hear the ocean. I found that one last summer when we went to the beach on a picnic. The two of you were still sitting on the floor looking through your collection of beach findings when the doorbell finally rang. Cove jumped, startled by the sound. Since the person hadn't noticed, you figured it was probably Shiloh. He knew where to look for that. Lizzie's friend? You nodded, but that didn't seem to make Cove feel better. It was already obvious that Cove didn't hide his feelings well. You could tell what he was thinking right away. This isn't a good idea. You'll be all right. He's here. We can't tell him to leave. He's at our only door, and if you go upstairs, he'll find you. Cove glanced around the room, his eyes wide, and finally paused with his gaze locked on the back of the house. I can go out the window. He was already walking towards it. Scrambling to think of something to say, you stepped forward, then paused. Let's see, do you want to break your other arm? Shiloh is the least scary person alive. Cheer up, Shiloh's gonna like you. Please don't get hurt. I'll come with you. Good idea, let's go. Ooh, these are some fun options. Because I think that we're also not super thrilled about Shiloh coming. Let's do good idea, let's go. Hurry, they'll see where we're going. He glanced back at you, then nodded. The two of you made your way to the window together. It wasn't much of a distance to clamber out, but by the time you landed gently in the bushes, you looked up to see that Cove was already taking off away from the house. He was fast, but you knew you could outrun him if you had to. He was not that fast. You knew you could outrun him if you had to. He was not that fast, but neither were you. At that speed, you weren't sure if you could go fast enough to reach him. We'll do this one. Actually, we'll do this one. Cove! You ran as fast as your legs would take you, grass whipping around your ankles as you did so. Cautiously, Cove slowed to a halt and looked back at you. Where are you going? I don't know. Somewhere else. I just don't want to see... Willow! You looked back and saw Shiloh huffing down the hill after you, the backpack he clutched bouncing all around along the way. What are you doing? Can I come? He must have seen you leaving out the window and followed behind.
Hi.
Oh, hi. Are you Cove?
Yeah.
I'm Shiloh. Okay. Yep. Are we going back, or are we gonna play outside? Shiloh's eyes moved between you and Cove. The smile remained strong on his face. It got a tiny frown from Cove in response. You were just grateful he hadn't asked you why you had been running away. Inside, we left the box on the floor. Right, my shells and stuff. We have to make sure they're okay. Okay. With Shiloh trailing behind you and Cove headed back toward the house. The plan for the afternoon, at least as far as you were concerned, was to sit and look at the beach things some more. You weren't really in the mood to do much of anything else, especially if Cove was having fun. Hey, check out this scallop shell I found. Cool, right? It's a pretty color, kind of like my cast. A beautiful glittering pink. Did look a little bit like the wrap around his arm. Pink is a nice color. Okay.
Oh?
Is it your favorite? Not really. What is? Maybe green or blue. It might be yellow. Oh, those are all cool, I guess. Let's see, we can say I like those colors too. There are better colors. Not sure how to deal with the suddenly more awkward silence. You look back at your shells. Hey, I like those colors too. Awesome. Both of them smiled. Like usual, it didn't take long for Shiloh to get fidgety. Lizzie was his favorite. Without her around, Shiloh didn't seem to know what to do with himself. Kind of pictured him being older, because I thought Lizzie's our older sister, and I thought it was her friend, but I guess maybe it's like a kid that likes to come over and hang out with her that's not really her favorite. And Cove wasn't like your sister. He wasn't that much like you either. Is Lizzie coming back? Dunno. Aw. Excuse me. Where'd she go? I think she's at the beach, probably. Is she playing at her park? Cove's eyes lit up at the mention of the park, and he looked towards you. There's a park? Yep, but it's old. Can you show me? I want to go. He started getting up before you had even answered, and Shiloh jumped up beside him in excitement. Really? You do too, right, Willow? The park is fun. Yes, we're gonna do it. I love it. Yeah, it's right at the beach, so there's lots of fun stuff to do and lots of sand. It has a jungle gym and a bunch of swings. That sounds like it could be cool. So, are we going to find Lizzie? I don't know. I never really wanted to see her. I just want to check the park out. Adrift without any direction, Shiloh finally turned to you. Okay. He perked up. Both boys wanted to go. It was only fair. After getting permission from your moms, the three of you were ready to head out. It was a short walk to the park. Lizzie had convinced your moms that it was so short she could always be allowed to walk there by herself. When you found her, she was hanging on the jungle gym, swinging back and forth. Hey, Lizzie. Her face lit up when she saw you, her big brown eyes going wide. Willow, Shiloh. Hi. Dropped to the ground and landed with a soft thud in the sand. In a split second, Shiloh had abandoned you two and scrambled over to stand by her. You were used to being left out when it was just the three of you, but now Cove was here. You wondered if he would leave too. Oh goodness, that's our sister. Lizzie, who's that? It's Cove. He's new.
Hi.
I remember. Hi, Cove. Welcome to my park. Nobody ever comes to play here, so this is where we get together. She gestured widely with her arms as if to present the area to the newcomer. Without interrupting Lizzie's speech, Cove whispered in her ear, quiet enough that the others wouldn't overhear. I thought kids couldn't own places like parks or hills. You couldn't help but laugh a tiny bit. While Lizzie continued talking, you took the chance to kick off your shoes and wiggle your toes through the warm sand. Nice, huh? In this neighborhood, I'm the one who comes up with the ideas. You are?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I am. Who else could handle the job? Lizzie is the oldest. By a lot. My mom's said you're Willow's age. Yeah. Thought so. I'm still the only one in this group with double digits. It sounds like something my kids would say. What about the other kids? Other kids? There aren't any. We're the only kids here, and Shiloh is just visiting from another place. Not even tourists really bring their kids here. This is the land of ancients. Be careful that the oldies don't try to steal your youth. Oh. For a second it looked like he might cry again. But something in his eyes shifted and he looked back at Lizzie. What kind of old people? Like moms and dads or grandparents? Grandparents who don't have kids. They hate kids. Why? We haven't done anything. Only some of them don't like kids. Stop saying stuff like that. You're gonna upset him. Yeah, they're really bad. Let's say only some of them don't like kids. You interjected quickly, hoping Lizzie wouldn't take things too far. Cove sniffled, his forehead creasing with worry. Lizzie was staring Cove down, but Cove wasn't even looking at her anymore. He didn't seem to care that she was there. He went into his own head. Shiloh was the next one to speak, completely unaware of the situation. I met Lizzie and Willow in school. You'll see tons of kids there once summer is over. I don't want to go to a new school. I don't want summer to end. Shiloh looked down to the dirt. He hasn't had much luck striking up conversations with Cove. I like summer vacation a lot too. All the building tension in the air suddenly vanished when Lizzie laughed. At Shiloh's discomfort, at how weird she thought Cove was, at something else entirely you didn't really know, but she laughed, face scrunching up.
Okay.
Welcome to Sunset Bird Cove. Take a seat, put up your feet, and get used to it. You offered him a small smile, and that at least looked to reassure him some. For the rest of the summer, Cove was always there. You saw him more often than Shiloh, and on some days when she was in a bad mood or busy, you even saw him more than Lizzie. He became a staple of your everyday life, the way sun and lunch and the beach were. During your first summer together, you really liked Cove. He was a fun person to play with, and he seemed to like playing with you too. Of course, that was only the start of things. A moment. So we get to select a moment. Okay, let's do it. Grown up. For a grown up, I don't know. Shopping, long day, sandcastle, fireflies. Ooh. I'm liking the idea of sandcastle or fireflies. Let's do fireflies. All right, tonight we're going to catch fireflies. At this blunt declaration from your sister, you looked up from your macaroni and cheese dinner. Fireflies were a familiar sight over summer, coming out on warm nights to dance through the sky. The night was particularly balmy. You knew there were bound to be a ton of them around. Oh, are you? Oh, you are you? Yeah. You started eating faster. You looked over at your mom's. You pushed your food around your plate. Let's start eating faster. A grin curved your lips as you started to eat a bit faster, excited for what was to come. It seemed like you were too excited, however, as you started to choke and cough on your food from shoveling it down so quickly. Mommy reached over to pat you on the back, firmly helping to dislodge the noodles and enable you to breathe again. You took a big gulp of water from your glass, giving your moms a sheepish look. Oops. That's a good idea, Lizzie. Can we, Mrs. Lane? Shiloh tapped his fork against the table excitedly, his face lighting up as he looked at Lizzie. It was unusual for Shiloh to still be here. Like always, his mom had to bring him over really early in the morning before her job started. But normally, she would have picked him up by now. She called before dinner to let your moms know she'd be late. You didn't hear why. Probably more work things. You thought maybe getting to hang out with Shiloh for longer is what made Lizzie want to keep running around outside. Staying at home and watching TV was never an option for her with guests over. That's why you were pretty sure she'd get your moms to agree. Well, it's already so dark out there. Lizzie gave Mom the best puppy dog eyes she could, slowly spooning mac and cheese into her mouth while she waited for their response.
There.
Let them go. Nights like this don't happen every day. Your parents exchanged a look, then Mom eventually sighed and nodded back. Yes. Along with Lizzie's cheers, you threw your arms up in triumph, but waited until you'd finished chewing to say anything because you knew it was rude to talk with your mouth full. Fine. Just make sure you stay on the hill behind our house with all the poppies, okay? Duh, Mom. That's where most of them are. The idea had only just been planted in your head, but already you could just picture all the glowing lights spread out in front of you, like the fairies from the bedtime stories Mommy read sometimes. All too quickly, it became a race to see who could finish their food first. No choking at the dinner table now. That's right, if someone died, we'd have to cancel the Firefly trip after all. Mom said it like a joke, but you knew that they were both telling you kids to slow down. Shiloh did immediately. When you glanced at Lizzie, you saw her still eating faster than she should. Elizabeth.
Gee.
No one is gonna die, sheesh. A knock on the door interrupted Mom before she could no doubt scold your sister. I'll get it. Your big sister jumped out of her seat and ran over to the door, pulling it open without even looking out the window to see who it was. Huh? You shifted in your seat to try and get a glimpse of the unexpected guest.
Hi.
Good evening, Cove. Your mommy had already walked to the door by the time you managed to see past Shiloh's flappy hat. Hi, Cove, hi. You're here. Cove smiled at the enthusiastic greeting, and you hoped Mommy would ask him to stay. It didn't matter why he was there, it meant he could join you all in catching fireflies. Then, for a few seconds, Cove said nothing. He only stood there and looked up at your mommy with a face almost like he was considering turning around and leaving. My dad told me to drop this off because I guess he borrowed it from you. Cove took a familiar screwdriver out from his large side pocket, eyes now dropped to the floor. We left ours back home when we moved. Great. Thanks. Bye. Thank you. Here, why don't you come inside for a bit? Lizzie crossed her arms and lifted her chin. Cove shrugged, and Mom stood from the table too. I'll give your dad a call and let him know you got here all right. Cove shuffled fully inside, eyes remaining on the ground. Mommy closed the door behind him. Hi, Cove. Shiloh gave Cove a friendly smile while waving by, holding up his hand and opening and closing his fingers. Cove nodded his response. Cove, are you going to catch fireflies with us? You could come outside with us if you want to. You weren't sure what to say. Let's say you could come outside with us if you want to. From the corner of your eye, you could see Lizzie glaring at you for mentioning the excursion to an outsider. Trying not to meet her gaze, you looked at Cove. Whatever Lizzie thought of him, he wasn't exactly a stranger anymore. We're gonna catch fireflies on the hill out back. You said that with a smile, hoping Cove would want to come.
Yeah.
I can do that. I've never caught one before. It's too bad he didn't have a chance before now. The fireflies weren't out when he first moved in, and there must not have been anywhere he used to live. We can't go until after dinner. To the table and took her seat. There wasn't much left on her plate. Since this was very true, you decided to finish up your own stuff as well. Cove stepped closer and eyed what was on the menu for your family's meal. Have you eaten yet? Yeah, my dad and I ate earlier. What did you have? Eggs. The clipped one-word answer seemed to discourage Shiloh from asking any more questions. His eyes slowly wandered back to the last scraps of food on his plate. Her phone call with Cove's dad must have ended because your mom came back into the room.
Okay.
Cove, your dad said you can stay for a little while if you'd like, but he's going to come get you before it gets too much later. Sure.
Fun.
Oh, fun. This will be so nice. As you polished off the meal, you hoped it would be too. The three of you all finished eating shortly after, and Lizzie led the way outside. Remember, don't stray too far. It's fine, Mom. Shiloh trailed so closely after Lizzie, he was nearly stepping on her heels. Cove hesitated at the door. Coming? After a moment, he did.
Bye.
Bye, children. The two of you were a good 10 or 15 feet behind Lizzie and Shiloh by the time you walked outside. You pushed the door shut behind you, watching their figures get farther and farther away.
Hurry up!
You're so slow, Willow. We don't have all night. You started to run when you heard Lizzie's voice calling you, but paused when you saw Cove still walking at a relaxed pace. Are you not gonna come? You tugged him along. You walked with him. You waved at him to hurry. You ran off. Let's see. Let's tug him along. Let's go! You reached out, first for his cast arm, then corrected yourself and grabbed his other hand instead. He stumbled a bit at your pull, but went along easily enough after he got his balance. When you arrived at the hill with Cove in tow, your eyes widened at the beautiful sight. There were a lot of fireflies out, glowing against the backdrop of the dark sky. Lizzie was already standing on top of the hill, and Shiloh was running around near the middle. Wow. Shiloh took a moment to come over and welcome the both of you to the hill. Hey guys, it's really great out, huh? See how many there are. Yeah. A firefly danced through the air, landing on Cove's sea-green head. Shiloh couldn't help but giggle. You and Shiloh couldn't help but giggle. You quietly looked on. You shooed the bug away. Let's giggle. Covering your mouth with a hand, the sound escaped you, and Cove looked at you in confusion. What? You gestured to his head, and he reached up, making the firefly dart away. Cove jumped, then followed after the glow. Oh, look, Lizzie has gone. Has one. That's amazing. Shiloh ran to the highest point of the hill, making sure not to lose his hat or backpack along the way. You hummed as the group divided and conquered, shifting your gaze to the dozens of other fireflies sailing around. The game was on. You had a bandage on your thumb, and you tried to be cautious of that. You had a bandage on your palm, and you tried to be cautious of that. You had 2 bandages on your hand, and you tried to be cautious of that. You were good at not getting cuts or scratches, so you weren't too worried about that. Let's see. I don't think we have scratches. Spotting one close by, you approached it with assassin-like stealth, crouching down to make yourself seem less of a threat. Slowly dragging one foot in front of the other, you crept up towards it, arms outstretched. You closed your hands around the little glowing orb, careful not to crush it. The firefly landed on your palm, almost docile, and you stared down at your prize in delight. Its tiny legs tickled your skin, and you giggled at the sensation. Cove kept up with his own target, but when he tried to grab it, his pink cast waved awkwardly through the air, foiling his efforts to clap his hands around the firefly. Cove watched it vanish into the thin air with a dissatisfied expression on his face. You encouraged him to try again. You told him about the firefly you had. You made a joke about what happened. Did your own things. Let's show him our firefly. Hey, want to see the one I got? Cove gave one more look in the direction of his lost prize before coming closer and peering at the insect still crawling across your palm. You held out your hand, and he leaned closer, eyes widening a tad behind his glasses. Cove remained hypnotized by the little bug as he inched his hand closer to yours. Ultimately, he settled his fingers lightly over top of the ones you were holding open. It tingled. So we can stay very still, or we can pull our hands back. But since we're holding a firefly, I think we'll stay very still. The last thing you wanted was to accidentally scare the shiny treasure off. The firefly, noticing the new connection, crawled up onto Cove's hand. He quietly gasped. That's so cute. It worked. Yeah, you got one. Cove's lips turned up into a slow smile and his eyes shined brighter than the bug. Thanks, Willow. With a laugh, he gave the palm of your hand a friendly smack, performing an awkward low five. Startled by the extreme movement, the tiny light disappeared before you could even blink. Your firefly was gone.
Sorry.
Oops, sorry. You scolded him, you forgave him, you teared up. Let's forgive him. That's okay, I couldn't keep it forever. Right, bugs have to stay outside. Let's get another. Let's see. We decide to collect more, or we decide to sit in the grass and watch. Sit in the grass. I think I'll look at everything instead. That's fun too. Okay. He poked the tip of his shoe into the soft dirt. I'll try to get something for you, then we can be even. With that, he made a run for it. You quietly took a seat among the flowers. The others were jumping and dashing all about. You saw how many times they succeeded and failed, how Shiloh almost tripped a couple of times. It was a dramatic show. Though around you it was calm, the lights of the stars and fireflies surrounded you peacefully. It was a beautiful night. You laughed quietly to yourself as you watched the others, and Shiloh finally managed to catch a firefly between his small hands. His eyes lit up, and when he spread his fingers to take a peek at it, the bug escaped and flew off into the air. Oh! You watched as he pounced after it once more, but your eyes soon landed on Cove, who had failed to catch a firefly yet. Let's see. You cheered him on. You scared him. You waited to see what happened. Let's cheer him on. You can do it, Cove. Cove smiled, and you gave him a thumbs up, watching intently to see what happened next. While Cove returned to hunting fireflies, you settled for laying back against the soft grass, watching the poppies swaying around you and the fireflies hovering against the vast sky. Willow. You lifted your eyes to see Cove returning to your side. His fist was carefully closed. He stretched it out to the front of your face. You noticed a small glow coming from in between his fingers. I got one for you. Wow, what now? The hand disappeared up and over you. This! You could tell from how he moved in his face that there must be a firefly on the top of your head now. You laughed, and it probably flew off, you thought. That made you laugh more. Thanks, Cove.
Come on.
Willow, Cove, get up here. We're gonna have a race. The shouting caught you off guard. It had been quite a while since you heard from Lizzie or Shiloh. You glanced over to see them both standing on top of the hill again, Lizzie beckoning to you with quick hand gestures. If she was like that, you knew there wasn't much room for disagreement. Up the incline you went. From the corner of your eye, you saw Cove was coming as well. He didn't care for Lizzie a lot, so you thought he might be intrigued just by the idea of a race. Hi. Hi, Cove. You can't roll down the hill. You could hurt your arm again. You'll be the referee for the rest of us. As Lizzie pointed this out, Cove froze in place. Oh, it was that kind of race. He frowned down at his cast. That was the second time it had gotten away tonight. What? Yeah, you'll watch and see who gets to the bottom first. That's important. Got it? I guess. The cast was sturdy. If he was careful, he could have done it. Lizzie might have just been looking for a reason to make someone else be the referee. But it was already decided. You got into position for the race? I'll stay with Cove. I'm gonna do something else. Let's see. I'll stay with Cove.
Really?
Really? Why? You don't have to. It's okay, I want to watch. You moved beside him on the top of the hill, even though Lizzie eyed you and made a face. That's not how races work. We only need one referee. Shrugging your shoulders, you refused to budge, and Lizzie let out a huff before throwing her hands in the air. Fine, I'll be the winner, whether you join or not. Lizzie moved to lay down, and Shiloh did the same. Cove stood slightly to the side to get a better vantage point, and you stood next to him. Count down! Cove stood up a little straighter. It seemed like he was taking his newfound referee duties seriously. 3, 2, 1, go. Lizzie and Shiloh took off, letting gravity do the work and rolling at high speed towards the bottom of the hill. You and Cove leaned forward to watch them go, eyes peeled for which of the two would reach the bottom first. They were both neck and neck until about halfway down the hill. Lizzie started to veer off to the side, giving Shiloh a huge advantage. She obviously hadn't noticed a thing, and as soon as Shiloh reached the bottom of the hill, he jumped up excitedly and threw his hands in the air. I won! Almost immediately, he fell back onto the grass, still dizzy from his roll down the hill. Lizzie stomped out of the bush she had ended up in, spluttering angrily and brushing leaves from the front of her dress. Not bad, you got lucky. Let's do it again and see who wins for real. Kids, it's time to come in. No! You snickered, feeling grateful you hadn't been a part of the mini debacle. You caught Cove's eyes and saw that he was doing the same. It had gotten late and it was beginning to feel just a bit chilly as you made your way out of the hills, but the cold in the air hadn't dampened anyone's spirits. The four of you walked back home together side by side down your neighborhood street, discussing the evening, with each person trying to prove that they were the one who caught the most fireflies. You knew that whoever really did catch the most didn't matter much anyway. All that mattered was that you had all had a good time, which, judging by the smiles on everyone's faces, you did. Oh, that's so cute. That's so cute. Guys, I love this game. I'm gonna pause here for today, but we're definitely gonna be back to play some more of this. And this is a really interesting style of game, one that I've never tried before, like I said, so I'm really excited to be trying it now, and so far my impressions are that I really love it. So this is really cool. I like it a lot. So I hope you enjoyed. I hope if you did enjoy that you'll look for the next video of this game playthrough too. And like always, if there's a game that you'd like to see me play, comment with the name of the game or the style and I'll look into it because I love suggestions. A lot of times I just don't even know what to try, but I love to try things that are suggested because I find a lot of cool things I didn't know I liked before that way. So I hope you guys all take care and I look forward to seeing you again in the next video. See ya!